They always remembered the moment because it was the only time the jungle went completely silent, not the peaceful kind of silence, but the kind that presses against your chest and steals your breath. The kind that tells you something irreversible is about to happen. And in that frozen second, when even fear seemed to stop moving, the female SEAL sniper lifted her crossbow and whispered 2 words into the dark: "Don't breathe." Her name was Lieutenant Mara Cade, and most of the men in the room where her story began had laughed when they first heard it. A crossbow, in a modern combat zone. Someone actually chuckled and asked if she planned to hunt deer instead of terrorists. Mara didn't smile, she didn't argue, she just kept adjusting the tension on the compact black limbs of the weapon, checking the explosive bolts with the calm precision of someone who had already proven herself too many times to care what anyone thought. Mara had learned early that disbelief was lighter to carry than approval. Growing up in a coastal town where her mother repaired boats and her father never came home from his last deployment, she learned to fix things herself: engines, broken doors, broken expectations. She learned that silence could be a shield, and patience could be sharper than anger. By the time she earned her trident, she had already survived things that didn't leave visible scars, and that made her dangerous in a way no one could immediately see. The mission briefing room was tense that night. An Allied intelligence team had gone dark inside a fortified river compound controlled by a warlord known for turning captives into warnings. The compound sat deep in jungle terrain where air support was risky and gunfire echoed like a siren. The plan required silence, speed, and creativity. That was why Mara was there. That was why the crossbow mattered. Explosive bolts weren't about brute force. They were about control. No muzzle flash, no sonic crack, precision destruction where bullets would fail. Mara had spent months refining the system with engineers who initially dismissed her ideas until she outperformed their simulations. When command finally approved it, the approval came without applause, just a nod and a warning that if it failed, the blame would be hers alone. The insertion went wrong almost immediately. The river was higher than predicted, the current faster, the night thicker with fog. Halfway through the approach, one of the team's breathing units malfunctioned. A soft hiss, barely audible, enough. Floodlights snapped on like a predator's eyes opening. Voices rose. Dogs barked. The jungle that had hidden them suddenly turned against them, every leaf a witness. The team dove for cover, hearts pounding, knowing they had seconds before the compound locked down completely. That was when panic tried to take hold. Mara felt it too, the rush of heat, the tremor in the hands, but she had learned how to ride it instead of fight it. She pressed herself into the mud, raised the crossbow, and scanned the towers through her optic. One shot, that was all she needed. "Don't breathe," she whispered, not as an order, but as a promise. The first bolt flew and struck the base of a tower's support joint. The controlled detonation folded the structure inward like a collapsing spine. No scream, no warning, just darkness where light had been. The dogs stopped barking. Confusion replaced confidence. The second bolt took out the generator housing. Power died across the compound in a chain reaction of sparks and shadows. Shouts turned to shouted orders. Orders turned to chaos, but chaos is still dangerous. As the team advanced, they found the intelligence unit alive, but barely. Bound, beaten, dehydrated, still defiant. One of them recognized Mara and laughed. Weakly. "They didn't know what to do with us," he said. "They kept waiting for someone louder." Extraction wasn't clean. It never is. The warlord's men regrouped faster than expected, cutting off the river route. Ammunition ran low. Time ran out. In the final stand, as the team took cover behind crumbling walls, Mara found herself face to face with the fear she never spoke about, the fear of not being enough, of failing the people who trusted her without question now. She remembered her father's last letter, the one her mother finally showed her years later. It didn't talk about glory or sacrifice. It said, if it comes down to it, be the calm when everyone else is loud. So she was. With her last 3 bolts, Mara did something no one had planned for. She targeted the compound's symbolic center, the massive iron gate covered in the warlord's insignia. The explosion didn't just destroy metal. It shattered the myth that he was untouchable. His men hesitated. Some ran. Some dropped their weapons. The spell was broken. By dawn, the river carried the team away under a sky just beginning to turn gold. No one spoke for a long time. When they finally did, it wasn't about the crossbow or the explosions or the fear. It was about the quiet moments in between, the trust, the restraint, the choice to act without needing to be seen. Back at base, No one laughed when Mara walked into the debrief. No one clapped either, but the commander met her eyes and said, simply, "You changed the outcome." Mara nodded, already thinking about what could be improved, what could be refined. Because for her, strength was never about proving people wrong. It was about proving that there was another way to be strong, calm instead of loud, precise instead of reckless, steady instead of celebrated. And somewhere out there, in the silence just before courage is tested, her words still echo, not as a threat, but as a reminder. Don't breathe, stay present, and when the moment comes, be the calm that turns fear into victory.